Hello, we are going to be talking about how you can quantum leap your life, your business, your relationship to the next level. And if this is the very first time that we're meeting, well, hello, nice to meet you. I am Dr. Nona Javid, and I built my very first seven-figure business in my early 20s, and then I completely burnt out. In that process, though, I learned a few things, and this is multiple decades ago at this point. And over these past couple of decades, I have learned how to tap into the energetics of creating a quantum leap in your life. Back then, I was in a marriage that wasn't working. I was burnt out in my business. I was really a complete slave to my business. Definitely was not the good mom to my children. And now I get to world school my kids any chance that I get. I live between California and Rome, Italy, and I have a 1 week a month lifestyle. Some of you may have seen some things around that on my Instagram or my social media. So no matter where we have met and how we have gotten connected, I'm happy that you're here. I'm honored that you're going to spend this next few minutes with me. And I want to break down the very specific steps that I have taken. There are 4 steps. There are 4 steps that I have taken every time that I have quantum leaped my life. All right. And I teach this inside of my coaching container in my community. And my students are continuously quantum leaping in different areas of their life. And we cover 3 different areas: area of health, area of wealth, and area of connection. Once I go through the 4 steps, if this is something that resonates with you, then you may want to join in our club. You don't have to. It's an option. It's available to you. This is my work and my jam, and something that I absolutely love to do. And I love watching my students buy the next car, buy the next house, take their business to the next level, scale their businesses, increase their profitability, work less, create more freedom, go on more vacation. I love watching that. So if this is something that resonates with you, again, I do a deeper dive inside of my membership. So let's go over the 4 steps. The very first step in the process is actually having an unreasonable vision for your life, right? So I remember when I was completely burnt out, I had this vision where, at the time I was in a marriage that wasn't working. I was working really, really hard, which I feel like you would probably relate to that. My relationships weren't fulfilling in terms of my friendships, and I was a new mom, and I had built this entire business, and here I am, a complete slave to it. And I can't stop thinking about it, stressing about it. I just felt unsafe in my own nervous system, and I didn't really feel like I was taken care of or provided for, and there was a lot of scarcity even though my business was in 7 figures. And I remember in one of the moments of the burnout, down at the very bottom of the rabbit hole, if you would, I had this vision for a life that I used to dream about when I was a little girl. I remember feeling like I'm going to grow up to be in love, and I'm going to grow up to travel the world, and I'm going to grow up to be free and wild, and I'm going to grow up to have impact in the world and contribute to the world in a way that matters, in a way that is meaningful. And I'd always wanted to live bicontinentally. I wanted to learn new languages, and again, just wanted to have this dream life. Now, from where I was sitting back then, this other vision seemed completely unreasonable. And that is the key. You'll want to set an unreasonable vision for your life, because if it's reasonable, you're gonna just do the same things you've been doing, maybe more of them, and there is no requirement of you to quantum leap or to evolve as a human being or as a business owner or as a mom or as a wife. So if you're setting smart goals over here, well, that's not a quantum leap is not going to happen from a smart goal, because it's not requiring you by nature, by definition, it's not requiring you to jump. It's not requiring you to express way more of your potential. So the very first step is knowing where you are headed and making sure that it's absolutely unreasonable. You have no idea how to get there. And if the thought of it maybe even activates a little voice in your head that says, who do you think that you are? Who do you think that you are? You're not going to be able to get there. So, very first step. And this is, I mean, this step alone, we talk about this and we go into a lot detail inside of Elevate Club, but this step just by itself, if you just did this and you clarified what are the things that you're looking for, is going to be extremely important in this process and has changed so many people's lives. And I know people would come into Elevate Club and be like, I don't know what I want, or maybe I want this, maybe I want that. And with a little bit of hand holding and sort of, you know, giving that vision some wings and jazzing it up and making it super juicy, the next thing you know, they are manifesting and different things are unfolding in their lives. We've had people show up and buy a new car just from expressing and claiming it out into the universe. And the second step in the process is called expanding your identity. So, what I mean by expanding your identity, I'm talking about becoming the next version of yourself. But before you can become her, before you can become the version of you that is traveling the world and has all the money in the world and contributes to the world in whatever the way that she wants to do it, before you do that, you have to intellectually, from the left part of the brain, right? Like you utilize the left part of the brain, intellectually describe the next version of yourself. So in step two, we go through and we go, okay, so if I were to expand my identity, and again, we do a deep dive in this in Elevate Club, but I want to give you the big picture stuff. This in the second part of the process, I go, okay, who do you need to become? And there's 10 different criteria. I won't go into it, but there's like, how am I making decisions? What are my relationships like? What is my relationship to money? What is my relationship to time? And a whole bunch of other things. And you go through and you really start to define who is the next version of you, the next level CEO that has scaled the business, the next version of a CEO that has multiplied the business or 10x'd it with ease, or the next version of you as a mom, the next version of you as a lover, whatever it is that you're working on. And so you start to describe her, you start to become familiar with her, almost like make friends with her, make some connection. By the way, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but by the way, there is research in every single part of these steps. Like step one, not to like again get off track, but in step one, when I said the unreasonable vision, some of the things that we teach is how to incorporate your senses, your limbic system, and the right side of your brain to really make an impact on your nervous system so that your nervous system goes, oh, that's not so unreasonable. I can totally do that. And next thing you know, you're open to more opportunities and more events and more experiences and more people, different people, experiences, and events that are going to take you to that next level and quantum leap your life. So even in the second part, we're talking about expanding your identity. There's so much research, neuroscience, social studies that show if you can tap into the identity of a future version of you that's more successful, is healthier, has a six pack, has a Porsche, whatever. If you can get in touch with her, you're actually more likely to take the steps that are going to get you there. Isn't that incredible? Tons of research around this. All right, and then there's the third step in the process, right? So quantum leaps, 4 steps. And the fourth step in the process is embodying the next version of yourself. Now that you use the right part of your brain to jot down the things, the traits and parts of the personality that you'd like to express more, and some of the things that maybe you need to express less of, now you're going to show up as that next version of yourself. And as that next version of yourself, you are going to behave from that point of view. So if you are going to have your coffee in the morning, I wonder how you would drink your coffee. If you're going to do a Zoom call, if you're going to be with your clients, if you're going to take a business call, or if you're going to invest in a business, or if you're going to join a group or invest in yourself, like I wonder what would be the embodiment. How would the next version of you, we call her the signature self, how would that version of you show up and do the thing that you're already doing? All right, so that will be the embodiment part of it. There's tons of things that goes into that. Obviously, that takes a deeper dive, and we do that inside of Elevate Club. Again, I'll put the information down below for anybody who's like, I want a deeper dive, or I want this. If this resonates, it's an option. It's not for everybody, but if you are ready to sort of figure out what this looks like, then you may want to check out Elevate Club and join us in your quantum leap. All right. The fourth step in the process is called taking action. You surprise, but it's not just any action, because any action, as we know, most of us work really hard, but we're not, the result or the outcomes are not exactly a match for the amount of effort that we're putting in, typically in our relationships, in our businesses, in our work, and things like that. Especially, I think for women, we tend to overgive and under receive. We haven't learned how to receive, which is a whole nother topic for another day. So the fourth step in the process is not just taking any action, but the fourth step in the process is taking unreasonable action. Unreasonable action. So in this particular step, you're gonna tune into and tap into the next version of yourself. And then once you embody her and you practice her in your current existence in this timeline, then you go, wait a second. What are the actions she would be taking if there's a gap? Or if you're high on her, if that makes sense, if you have merged with her and she is here right now, regardless of your circumstances, you could be taking unreasonable actions, which at this point, they wouldn't really be unreasonable. They are just unreasonable for the version of you right now. They're super reasonable, easy peasy for the next version of yourself. So in step 4, you're taking unreasonable action. You're doing things that you would never do, but the next version of you is like, it's chill. We can do this. This is easy. I've done this. And here's how you quantum leap. And then next thing you know, you are living this beautiful, amazing, incredible life that you set out for yourself. I cannot tell you how many people inside of Elevate Club will send us testimonials or stories, and they'll tell us they found love. They closed on a home that they didn't think that was inside of their budget. They hit next income levels. We've had business owners multiply their businesses. So this is not your typical woo. This is some woo for sure, a lot of neuroscience, but also high level individuals that are looking to take their lives to the next level. And we cover 3 different areas. In the area of wealth, so your lifestyle, what kind of life you want to live, contribution, all of that is in wealth. And then of course in the area of health, what you want your health to be like, your body to look like and feel like and experience. And then of course area of connection. So your connection to your higher self, your connection to yourself, as well as your connection to your significant other, your kids, your clients, your partners, anybody else that might be in your life, or friends or family members. And that's what we cover. So if you like this and you're like, I want a deeper dive, I want a little bit of hand holding, these are the topics that we help our students quantum leap in, and we do that by weekly lessons. They're short. We're never going to ask you to do a whole lot of work to make something happen. We're all about doing less and generating more inside of the club. So weekly sessions, as well as monthly coaching calls with myself. Yes, you get to be on a Zoom with a bunch of amazing, incredible community. And then we call these quantum coaching calls because magic happens in these quantum coaching calls, whether you show up and have a question or you are just listening to other people. It's crazy. It's insane. You're going to love it if this resonated with you. So just grab a spot there and I'll see you inside of the club. All right. See you guys soon. Hope this was valuable.